I guess I'll go ahead and get started. So I wanted to do this video, live video, and be with you guys and let you guys know what was going on and where we're going with this. And I wanted this to be an official introduction of what's going on. I know we've been talking about it. I know we've been making moves. I know we've been posting videos, but you know, this is just the beginning of where we're gonna go with this, you know. And I really feel good about it. And I think we're going to be able to do big things. So I wanted this to be the introduction of Beyond the Struggle officially. I know our official launch date is on my clean day. That's what I called it because that was easy to remember that way. And that's kind of what I wanted to do. So we're still going to make that an anniversary date because it's easy for me to remember, and as well, it's a big thing for me as well. So, but today on the 7th, I really want to lay some ground here and dig into this and get a little bit serious. So first and foremost, my name is Mark, as you know. Starcevic's my last name. We are officially up. Website is up, beyondthestruggle.life. There's still some tweaking to do on it, not literally. There's just some kinks that we have to iron out, but it's up and running. You could set appointments on there. We will be posting some videos on there. And what I'm gonna do with the permission of everybody that we do record is I'm gonna ask some of the people if they don't mind we just switch out some videos on the website. I think that'd be good for the people that just shoot to the website, because once you Google it and we get some traffic going there, once we get some traffic going there, you know, obviously they're just gonna skip this because some people don't really mess with Facebook, which is weird. So what I want to do is to let you know that the website is up, is beyondthestruggle.life. My brother Henry thought the life part was really cool, so that's where we went. And so that's up and running. Also, I want to announce that we are legit now. We are registered, state, federal, everything. We are up and legit. This isn't some backdoor camera and a couple $40 lights. We are up and legit. We're doing this. So that's why I wanted to announce that today. As of yesterday, we are legit. Everything's legit. We're gonna keep pushing. We're gonna start making some things happen. I've been talking to some people. They've been coming through we're gonna do some fundraisers. We're gonna get some resources up there. And that's the other thing, is on the website I have a section for resources, but I don't want to half step. I want to at least put a handful of resources before we just step into it and you know, throw up whatever. I want a couple of decent ones at least for our local, and then I'm gonna put up a couple friends on here. I have one particular friend, I won't mention any names until we get to talking, but she's gonna give me a nationwide crisis line, stuff like that. So that'll be good. So we'll put that up. We'll put some local stuff for here, and then we're gonna focus. I'm gonna see if I can get somebody to help me with the website, and maybe I could start doing the state by state. What I want to do, if you guys, you know, for you guys, this is, you know, if you want to be part of this is what I'm reaching out for you. This is the videos that I've been doing constantly every other day or twice a week. This is what I've been doing it for, is because I'm literally reaching out to you to ask you for help for any kind of resources that you think that would save somebody's life. I have no problem posting it. I have no problem pushing it. I have tons of people on here that are willing to do the same, you know, and you know, so I'm going to be doing my homework as well. And again, I want to remind everybody, I do this because this is what's in my heart. You know, God has blessed me with this feeling this, I'm tugging on my heart. So that's why I want to do this. I feel like this is a purpose that I have. I don't want to lose it. So that's where I'm at with it. Also, we could get that going. Once we get the little box going with all the little states and stuff, I think that's going to be huge, because I registered the website as a resource as well. So when you go and you start Googling, we start getting some traffic there, which I already paid for that to get some traffic going there. Once we get that traffic going there, it's going to be hot. Then they can just be like, you know, hey, detox center, Wyoming, and then, you know, our thing will pop up, you know, that website will pop up. And when I say our thing, is because I want everybody that wants to reach out and do something in the backside, we can do it. You know what I mean? I have no problem shooting credits. I have no problem telling you guys what, you know what I mean, what's going on, updates, live updates. I have no problem with it. Let's do it. I know there's a lot of people that sit back and, you know, that want to do more. Well, this is it. I've laid a platform out for everybody to reach out and do more. You know, these stories, I don't know if anybody's on here that hasn't watched any of these stories that we have posted to this point, but these stories are powerful. You know, they're powerful. I sometimes, you know, I sit in here and I mean, my fiance, man, we were just talking about it. You know, she's in there watching TV right now and probably watching this. And I'm like, oh, I mean, I'm in here 12, 1 o'clock. And sometimes while I'm waiting to edit, I'm watching one of the videos that we already did just to remind me. I'm just like, man, this stuff is just so powerful. And, you know, these people are trusting me with this stuff and I love it. And I thank you guys so much with that. And we're going to continue to do that. You know, and God, yes, amen for this. Yes. The other thing I want to do is, I was hoping we're going to get a little bit more people on here. We're about 10 minutes in, but it's all right. So, well, the other thing I want to do is I've done, I think I just posted, let's see here, Jesse, Misty Jesse, Chris. I just posted my 5th video right now, last night. For those that haven't watched it, go and watch it. It's really good. 5 videos. And I really wanted to come in today. The special thing I wanted to do today is I wanted to come in and for all you guys and do my interview with you guys. So that's what we're going to do now that we kind of got the book work out of the way. Before I do jump into that though, I just want to let you guys know, don't forget, if you got somebody that wants to reach out. The website is up. You can tell them to go to the website. If the schedule don't work on there to get the exact times and dates that they want, I'm gonna have my daughter take care of it. We'll get you scheduled up. And bear with me too. Just remember that, please. Just bear with me. I have a full-time job. Me and my brother, we run a company, Limb Walkers Tree Service, and it's something that takes up the majority of my day. And so at the end of the day, this is coming here. I come into the studio that I built, and I get on here with you guys, and this is what I do. So bear with me and have patience, please. But I will get to you. Ask anybody that I've done the videos. I will get to you, and we will make it as comfortable as possible. So without further ado, I am Mark Starzovic. I am going to start off with letting you know that I am, how old am I? I will be 47 years old in 10 days. We'll start. And I'm going to do the interview like this. I'm going to do the interview for those that are watching. I want to do the interview how I try to do our interviews when we do them, and what I try to bring out of somebody. So it just put your seatbelt on. I won't take up a whole bunch of your time, but we're going to do some meat and potatoes here. So I'm going to start back to, and I got real treats for you guys. So bear with me here. Don't go nowhere. Let's see here. So, like I said, I'm going to start off from when I can remember. How's that sound? Further back as I can remember, I was probably 5. I had very little memory when I was before 5. I don't know if any of you do, but I'm going to start off when I was about 5. I think about 5 years old. So, these are pictures. I actually got some stuff together for you guys because that's how much I love you guys. And again, God has put this on my heart to do it like this. So thank God, because that's where I'm at right now. So I'm going to share with this. Don't laugh. This is serious business, okay? These are pictures of me when I was a baby. That's my uncle. That's me in my uncle's lap. That's his girlfriend, and that is their baby, okay? This is my grandma and me. When I was a baby. See the bar in the background? I don't know what birthday that is. I'm pretty sure I could probably zoom in on that bottle of champagne on the table. No big deal. But that's me. I imagine I was only a couple years old. My uncle and me. Okay? So that was when I was a baby. I don't remember any of that. I do remember living with my grandma when I was a baby. I do remember that. The reason I say I remember when I was 5 is because I do remember leaving my grandma when I was about 5 years old. I want to say my mom came and got me. Obviously, to this day, you know, I know why, and we're going to share that later. But my mom came and got me. I have one brother. It was me, my mom, and my brother. And my brother, I believe, is 11 years old or 12 years older than me, something like that. Let's see. So I was 12, 20. So he's like 12 or 13 years older than me, something like that. About 13, I think. When I was like 5, 6 years old, my mom came and got me. And I remember about 5, 6 years old, I would go back and forth to my grandma's. And the reason I remember that is because I always remember them fighting. I remember the fights were just, my brother would get me and we'd take off, and I was little, 6 years old, something like that. Like I said, my mom was always partying. She loved to drink. That was her thing. Drugs were like, whatever. It wasn't a huge thing when I was really little, as far as I know. It wasn't in front of my face at that point. You know, they smoked weed and they drank. That's what they did. My brother, well, at this age, I just remember he just smoked weed and drinking really wasn't a big thing for him. At least he didn't drink around me. I don't remember that part, or maybe I blocked it out. But we were so poor and my mom wanted me so bad that I remember living out of my mom's car. And I remember that my grandma and my mom would fight. So when I turned, probably I would say about 6 for sure, maybe a little bit more than 6 now, I remember them fighting. And I think my mom, so what happened was my mom gave me up when I was a baby to my grandma. My mom was always come visit, obviously. I mean, there's tons of pictures of us, you know what I'm saying? I've a handful of baby pictures I'd seen there, all from my grandma, all at my grandma's house, all with my grandma, all the way until at least like 2-3 years old. There's a gap somewhere in there where there's no pictures of nothing. I'm assuming that's when my mom got me back. But we were living out of my mom's car. She had this gigantic, I don't know if you guys remember those Delta 88s or whatever they were, gigantic cars. And we were living out the back seat and in the back seat of the car. And I remember doing that, and between doing that, my mom got these things back in the day. They were like welfare, hotel vouchers, and I know this stuff now, obviously. And I remember staying in the hotels and moving out of the hotels, and then we'd move, and wherever I stayed, that's where I went to school. I would go to school for a little bit, make a couple friends, and then we'd have to move or go somewhere else. And I was doing an interview with one of the, I think it was Jesse. I think I was doing an interview, and his interview, I mentioned it at the end. You know, I don't remember really good days with my mom at those times, you know, because I remember being so sad all the time. I do. It was a sad time because I hated making friends because I didn't get to keep them. You know, and my brother was like my father at the time. So I shared in his interview about one of the times I remember a good time was, you know, waking up, brushing my teeth because we had a bottle of water. That was a good day. And I remember dressing in the same clothes for days and being made fun of at school all the time. And that was rough. So those were the times that I had when I was little. And then I would go back and stay with my grandma, back and forth. When things were really bad, my grandma would allow my mom to come stay with her. But they fought a lot. You know, I remember all the way to like 7, somewhere around there. These are some more pictures I wanted to share with you guys. Look at this. This is cool. Oops, let's see. That's me. That's what a beer bottle looked back then. I think they were like loggers, I think they were called. Yeah, there was no shame in the game. Picture of me. You guys look on the table, there's beer, weed, all kinds of stuff. I even have a picture of where I'm at when there's some coke laid out. All these pictures I'm showing you, by the way, was not with my mom. I'm going to get into that right now. That picture. Those are there. This picture right here. You're going to ask about that bike. I know you are, because that's finished telling you how poor I was. There you go. This one, that's love. That's me. Yep. So, in these pictures that I showed you there, my mom's and my stepdad, that's a picture of him. I don't know if I could get it in there. That's a picture of him. That's a picture of my grandma. Pretty sure she was on something. I don't know, but this guy's name was John. Outside of the guys that my mom was with, as you can see the smile on my face, he was probably one of the coolest dudes my mom met outside of her last husband. His mom and dad lived up north in Northern California. I am born and raised in Southern California. I was born in San Pedro, and raised in Long Beach, Wilmington, Burbank, those areas pretty much, Lancaster, Palmdale. But this guy, his parents lived up north in Sonoma. And I remember one particular year, this year, I don't know, you can assume how old I was there, I don't know, 6, 7. Things were really bad for us. And my brother just kept telling us it was going to get better, but it never did. We would stay at people's houses, or my mom's friends. We lived in a garage one time. I mean, we never slept on the street, I'll tell you that much. I mean, we always had shelter. You know, we lived in the car, we lived at a friend's house, we slept on couches, I slept on the floor in many rooms. This guy, my mom meets this guy, and instead of sending me back to my grandma, she sends me up to his parents' house to stay with them for a whole summer. And I can't tell you I remember anything. I remember going to town. I remember certain events, going to town with his dad and him getting a haircut and just little stuff, going out picking strawberries, stuff like that. Somewhere along the line, I ended up going to school there, right across the street from where they lived. I do remember that. I went to school for 3 weeks. I'm going to say it was 3 weeks because it was really short. I know that. Couldn't tell you exactly because I don't remember, but I do remember it was very short. And my mom came and got me. So again, I met friends, got situated, and got moved out again. They took my brother in there too to put him to work. So that was ugly for me too because I hadn't been away from my brother. My brother has always been in my life as far back as I can remember. So now I'm like about 6 or 7. We're still doing our thing. My mom is drinking out of control at this point in my life that I can remember. And when I say out of control, I'm talking about like when we would stay in the car, she'll park at the bar. That's where we would stay. Then from there, we would leave. We left from there, and I remember a few key points in my life that we stayed with a friend of my mom's in the projects. They were in Long Beach called Carmelitas. So I can't remember times in between these times. They were so blanked. I imagine it's from being jacked up in my head. I don't know. But when I did these interviews and I hear this stuff, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. We stayed at a friend's house in Carmelitas. Her name was Debbie. And we were there for a while. I remember sleeping on the floor, sleeping on the couch, my brother and my sister-in-law. I remember these times because, again, these were the good times. We had a roof over our head. I don't remember going to school there. I don't remember going to school that whole period of my life. And I remember having to leave there because my mom's friend committed a robbery, and it devastated everybody, so everybody had to leave. So we left there. I don't remember where we went from there. I'm going to try to remember. But I don't remember having a roof over my head, like a real downright roof until I think we lived in Burbank. I don't know if I got any pictures of that stuff. I'm going to share these pictures anyways. I'll have to go back to them. But I told you I was in school. And my brother and my sister-in-law would go to all my school stuff. My mom would go to some of my stuff. I can't tell you that she didn't go to none to sit here and try to make you feel sorry for me because my mom loved me. She was a good mom. She had a real problem. And drinking was it for sure. But these are the clothes that I would wear, just to let you know. And I'm sure everybody had their moments, you know what I mean? And jacked up stuff, but this is the kind of shit that I was going to school in. When the pants didn't fit no more, we got sewn on knee patches, sewn on stuff at the bottom down there. But that's me. A cool picture. Let's see here. Long hair, blonde hair. It's kind of crazy, huh? And so anyways, trying to regather my composure. I apologize. So anyways, we left there. I don't remember how old I was, 7, 8, I think, and I could be wrong on some of these ages. We left there. I think we went to Burbank, and when we went to Burbank, I remember being in Burbank, and I believe I could be wrong again, but I know these stories are legit. I just don't remember the time lapse because I really locked out a lot of this stuff, and I shared some of this stuff when I was in Pier 1, and it's rough, so I'm sorry. Just bear with me. I'm trying to open. I do remember going to living in Burbank, and I think it was, I don't know how old I was. I gotta imagine I was like 8 or 9, somewhere around there, I think. Yeah. I think it was about 8 or 9. And I pulled 2 pictures aside. So we moved to Burbank. My brother, my sister-in-law, Michelle, my mom, and this nasty dude, ugly dude, just horrible person, very ugly. And my mom was still drinking. She had already tried to stop. She had went to rehab a couple times, and it didn't work. She tried. She was trying. That's what I could say. And thank God for my brother and my sister-in-law at this point in my life. But so they moved in with us. We lived in, I'm pretty sure it was a 2-bedroom apartment we moved all into. Either that or they moved across the hall or down the next door or something like that. But anyways, we moved in this apartment. These are pictures of my sister-in-law and my niece when I was little. That's my sister. That's me. Believe it or not, that's me on that side. This is again. And so that was in Burbank. So I asked my sister before I went on to here, asked her how old those pictures were because I wanted to use it for a reference for my timeline. So I believe she said I was like 8, somewhere around there, 7, 8. We got there. And again, this was a great time in my life because we had an actual place. My mom had the worst taste in men, though. They all were alcoholics. They all drank. They all had something nasty about them, except that dude I talked about earlier. And again, my brother stayed right by our side, and my sister-in-law too. I went to school there. And that was pretty cool. I think I think we were there for at least a year. I imagine it wasn't very long though. And then from there, I think we moved into Wilmington. Now, my grandma lived in Wilmington, and there was 2, 4, 6, 8 duplexes. There was 2 together in each one of on the street. So there was 2 in the front on this street, which was faced this way, and then down the street this way, I think there was 2, 4, and I think there was 6 going down this way, if I remember. But at this point in my life, I left out a detail. Very important. My brother went around then, I believe, and I could be wrong, and I know my sister's watching this, I could be wrong, and I'm sorry if I'm wrong. Sorry. All right, I can do this. My brother got AIDS. He got some bad blood. Mind you, this was the 80s. I believe it was the mid 80s, something like that. And it was devastating for the family, as you can imagine. Especially for me. I know it's hard for my family and for my sister-in-law and everybody else. My mom, obviously. But, my brother was like my dad. And, he kept my sanity as a little kid, if that even makes sense. I never understood a lot of stuff that happened in my family, but he always made it make sense. Sorry. So, man, I'm so sorry. Anyways, he made it make sense. And I didn't understand when they told us about this. I didn't understand and stuff. And I remember just not being the same, trying not to think about it, not believing it, going through all these emotions, And back then, you got to imagine, they knew nothing. There was obviously no cure. My brother and I are both hemophilias, and which is a blood disease. And our blood doesn't clot the same. So God forbid we get an accident or cut or whatever the case may be, we need infusions, blood and infusions. And he just got bad blood, And anyways, so from there I believe we moved down to Wilmington. See how I left that big part out? Well, I'm telling you, I'm not play tricks on you. We moved down to Wilmington, and now I'm with my grandma. Some of the things I left out during that time is I'm always seeing my grandma. I loved my grandma. My grandma was legitly like my mom. She raised me. She loved me like a son. She didn't treat me like a grandson. She treated me like her son. She loved me. And when I knew it, I seen her, I knew it. I could feel it. My mom loved me too and showed me the same love, but my grandma was just like, always had my back. I was just her baby, and I knew it. And she made me feel that way. So when we moved to Wilmington, the 2 houses that were on the front that I talked about earlier, my grandma lived in one, which before my grandma, my great-grandma lived in there. And around the corner, I lived here. We had a neighbor, and then my brother and my sister-in-law lived there too, 2 doors down. I mean, life couldn't get any better to me in my eyes. We had a house, like a real house, lived by my grandma, and my brother's living next door, 2 doors down. When times were good, I'm not gonna lie, things were good. They drank, my mom, my family, and they had a lot of parties, stuff like that. But when things were good, I mean, they tried to make the best out of times. They just were always drinking. That was the thing. If we had Thanksgiving, it didn't matter. My mom and my stepdad at that point in time, she was with a different guy. She split up with this other guy. And, let me go back to that. Let's go back to that. I'm so sorry. As things are opening in my head, we're going to go back and forth, I guess. Well, before we left Burbank, that guy that was talking about, that nasty dude, my brother and my sister-in-laws, they move. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember where. But anyways, we moved downstairs to this place. And I think they were still living there because my brother chased the guy. And I remember I slept in, by the way, when we had a house, I always slept on the couch. But it was a blessing. I never had my own room. Never. Not one time. Anyways, my mom, I'm in the living room and I hear my mom scream this wretched scream. And I look and this guy just comes barreling past me, running past me out the door. Whew. My mom comes out and her eye is hanging out of her face. I didn't know what to do. I mean, obviously I'm little. I have no idea. And so that was their separation to get to that point. I wanted to tell you that's how they separated. And I remember seeing that. And that was like, what the hell? Insane. So back to Wilmington. So now we're back in Wilmington and living there. Life is good because when we have family functions, they're making it good. you know. We had my stepdad, he was this new guy that she met. He used to do sand bows and stuff like that. He was a really good guy. I just, at this point in my life, I'm getting a little older. I'm like maybe 10, 11, somewhere in there. This is a picture of me then, so you can kind of figure it out. I guess I'm about 11, probably, something like that, 11. This is my mom made me wake up at 6 in the morning because she was leaving to Texas to take a picture. God forbid something happened, she said. But we would have these, just, summers were just awesome. You know, when it was good, it was good. When it was bad, it was bad. Like when they would drink, they would fight, throw stuff at each other, like fist fight, pull out knives. It was bad. And I'm not talking about this as like, oh, once a month. No, this was like every other weekend. It was fighting, pots and pans, stuff being thrown. Like it was like that. I would just usually take off to my grandma's house, which she lived next door, which was cool. Usually my stepdad at that time caught the blunt of everything. He was just a good guy and he just got his ass kicked all the time. I'm sorry for cussing. But my stepdad built this grill in the backyard. Like he was really super handy, and he built this barbecue grill. And if you can imagine, he put those cylinder bricks and then the refrigerator grates across it, and just, it was really cool. Like he would cook for all of us. He was a really good cook. Between that, so this is a picture that I really like of my mom and my brother. And so anyways, that was in the backyard there. So we would do these like barbecues and stuff like that. And just, I mean, it was awesome because we'd all get together. Kind of like my family does now. We all get together and do a lot of stuff. And this is another picture of my brother, my sister, and grandma. That's in the backyard as well. That little girl is my niece. And mind you, I'm gonna get to that point right now. But this is the front yard kind of stuff we would do in the front yard. That's my friend Jesse in there, me and my niece. My niece, she loved this scooter. I gave her this scooter. And while this is going on, there was a lot of crazy stuff going on with everybody. You know, I had to take care of my niece, and my brother was sick, and as he got closer to getting sicker, it got really hard for everybody. Let's see here. I'll put some pictures aside for you guys because it's hard. These are some pictures of my brother. He was already sick in almost all these pictures. So a picture of him. That's a bed on the floor in their house. He was pretty sick already there. This is our backyard one. And these, like I said, I remember this place so well because it seemed like every weekend we were doing something, you know, barbecue, but getting together though. And it was just a good time. That's my brother and my sister-in-law. And that girl right there on the other side is Debbie, the one that we stayed with. And, Carmelina, my brother, he was super sick in these pictures. He didn't die. He died not too long after this. I think it was a year or two later, something like that. I could be wrong. That's his baby, and that's Crystal. A Batman sweater on. And me saying bye. That was at my grandma's house. That mirror that's up there in the corner up there, I have in my home still. You know, that's at my grandma's house. That's me telling bye. Let's see. I have to share a few of these with you so you could get a feel of who I'm talking about here. He's a cool dude. That's him with his baby. He was super sick here. This is him as a kid. More pictures of him. My mom had us put these stupid pajamas on to match, right? Who does that? Look at a picture of me. I was just showing my kids right now. I'm like 12 years old with the bottle still. I don't know what the hell happened there. Picture of my niece and if my niece is watching, she'd like that. I love that picture. That's fun. Anyways, so we're there. My brother's getting closer to getting sicker and getting close to dying. And man, life was it was good. Like, you know what I mean? I had my brother. And I remember as my brother got sicker, things got real jacked up for us. I remember times, I left out another big piece. When I was little, I remember when I was about 6 or 7, I remember smoking weed. I remember distinctly about that. And I remember snitching on my brother. Because I don't know, but my brother did get me high on smoking weed. I was young. He got his ass kicked for it a couple of times. Anyways, forward back, when things were getting bad, my sister-in-law and my mom and, well, not my stepdad, but the three of them and my brother, all of them would either drink, do pills, do whatever pretty much they get their hands on, and everybody that was coming to the house at this point as my brother was getting sicker. I remember almost every day. One of my biggest, craziest memories was I remember every day where we lived at. In the back, there was a garage, and they rolled the dumpster into the garage. I don't know if you've ever seen those. They roll the dumpster into the garage, they close the doors, and then that's where you go in and dump your trash. And then when they come dump it, they pull off the trash can. I remember going in there, and my brother had this catheter thing in his chest. because obviously he couldn't do all the stuff, all the medicine that he had to do in his veins. And I remember going back there pretty much around the same time I get home from school, and we'd eat if dinner was made. And I'd go back there and I'd dump the trash, and my brother would meet me back there quite a bit. And I remember going back there, and when you walk in, you would turn, and you know where the door frame is, there was a piece of wood up there. And I remember my brother kept his stuff up there, like his, whatever the hell he was using at this time. And I'm pretty sure it was his pills, if I remember. And I remember I would stand at the door while he would shoot up. And it wasn't something that was like huge for me to sit back and be like, this is wrong, because I didn't know right and wrong, obviously, at this point in my life. But I love my brother so much I would have did it 10 times. It didn't matter. But I know you know, everybody was doing their thing, but I know that they didn't want him to be doing extra stuff, is what he used to tell me, is because, you know, he was dying and they wanted him to be around as long as he could. But I remember being back there, keeping point, watching, make sure my mom and my sister-in-law and nobody else, because we shared that trash can with other people, making sure that they didn't come back while he shot up. And sometimes he'd be back there for a hot minute afterwards, and then he'd go back home. I'd go back home and act as if nothing ever happened. And when he had his good days, he'd come get me. We'd have BB gun bores and ride bikes, whatever. He'd ride my friend Jesse's bike and go out, whatever it was. When he was feeling good on his good days, he spent it with me and his daughter for sure. I know that. Well, now at this point, my brother passes away, and my family loses it. I don't remember the funeral. I wish I could, but I don't. I tried. When I went through Pier 1 night, they ask you, you know, there's stuff you want to work on, and that was one of the things I tried to work on, because I just can't remember. And I would love to remember, but I can't. I couldn't. For $1 million, I couldn't tell you what that day was. But I do remember everybody lost their shit. Sorry. And my sister-in-law tried to kill herself at this point. And mind you, we have my niece is probably, God, I think she was about 4 years old, maybe. I don't think she was much older than that. So I'm having to take care of her and keep my mind as straight as possible. It wasn't happening. My sister-in-law tried to kill herself. She didn't. Obviously, she tried. And I don't even think it didn't seem like very much later, like maybe a week or two, my mom tried. They both tried to take a bunch of pills. And so having my niece and watching her mom go out on a stretcher. And then a couple weeks later, watching my mom go out on a stretcher. And I don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you can imagine where that's at. You know what I mean? I'm not doing no drugs at this time. I'm not even sneaking drinking. I smoked weed a couple times with my brother, but it really wasn't my thing. I didn't even like it. I did it because I was able to spend time with my brother, and he would like just tell me stuff that was on his mind. And I've never shared this with nobody, but I remember one time, well, a couple times, he took me to the spot where him and my sister-in-law got married up in Port Call. And I remember sitting by this tree, and him just telling me about how he wasn't scared. He just was tired of being sick. You know, I think that kind of stuff messes a person up, you know. So between all that and everything going on, you know, I left out some minor details here and there. You know, when things would get rough, I told you I'd go to my grandma's. I also would go to my Aunt Virginia's house. I stayed there. And what reminded me of this is I seen my cousins on there right now. I used to go to my Aunt Virginia's house and get away from everything. And my mom was okay with it, obviously, because they were always partying. And a lot of times I'd go over there, and my cousin Norman, he was a lot older than me. And all my cousins were pretty much, my cousin Nene and me were about the only ones that were close in age. And I remember going over there, staying over there when things were bad. And then I'd cruise over to my cousin Nene and Laura's house. He was my cousin Tony, but I always called him my Uncle Tony. You know, they were so good to me, and I'm so grateful for them, because when things were bad, they were there for me when things were bad at home. Anyways, jumping back, after my brother died, they both tried to kill themselves, and then things went black again. I don't remember. I just remember being really resentful towards my mom at this point in my life, because one time I came home and she was so drunk. Well, she was always drunk, but this particular time I remember coming home and she was drunk, super drunk, and she was crying. And she looked at me and she's like, and screamed at me, and why my baby? Why my only baby? That shit messed me up so bad. I took off out the back door, went to my grandma's house, and just stayed there for like days, because I got tired of hearing it. You know, God has blessed me, I've never lost a child, but and I couldn't ever understand that pain. But I never understood the pain that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know how to explain it if it makes sense. How I'm trying to say it. Like, it jacked me up. You know, her always, that was when she would get drunk, she would just always scream that, you know, my baby or my only baby. And just like, that shit put a damper on my party pretty quick. After that, I don't know, things started going a little south from there as far as a living. Bills aren't obviously getting paid. We're trying to function as a normal family, but it's not happening. This man was the glue to this family. And now that I'm older, I realize it. And so anyways, they try to hold together. We end up I'm getting into some stuff now at the time, trying to learn the neighborhood stuff and figured out what gang I want to be in, that kind of stuff. I'm not too sure yet where I want to go with my life, but I'm literally working on it. Still not doing any drugs at this point. You know, I'm smoking a little weed. I don't know, maybe having a beer here or there. But and when I say little bit, I'm not even like it wasn't my thing. I never tripped on. So now when my brother passed away, I was probably like 12, I think. I think I was about 12. He was, I want to say, my sister-in-law's on here. I want to say he was like 24, because right after that picture I showed you with him, I want to say he was like 24, something like that. 24, 25. He passed away, I think, right before his 25th birthday, I think. Anyway, so now my sister and them, we go up into Lake Hughes, which that's where we used to go camping as a family, which was really cool. Every now and then, it was my stepdad's idea, and I told you that dude was super cool with me. I just didn't respect him because I didn't like anybody to be with my mom at this point in time, because I thought they were all just losers, and they all drank and they didn't have nothing to offer. So anyways, we move up to Lake Hughes. I'm like 12, 13. We move up there. We move into a house. I'm back on the couch again. Things are going okay. But 12 days before his 24 year. Yep. So it was 12 days before his 24th birthday that he passed. Anyways, we go up to Lake Hughes. We get a house. We move into this house, and nice big house too, like right in the center of the town. I sleeping on the couch. Nothing stops. Everybody's still partying. Everybody's still drinking and boozing and drugging, whatever they could get their hands on. My mom really wasn't a huge crackhead type of thing. My mom was an alcoholic, and I mean, she was the epitome of alcohol. I'm not even joking. She was a poster child for it. Man, that was too much crying for me. I'm sorry. Anyway, so we stayed there. We had a shed outside, I remember, and I remember convincing my stepdad to let me move outside into the shed because I just, I'm a teenager. I want some privacy, man. He convinced my mom to move out there. The floor is cold concrete, but I didn't care. It was mine. Like, I had my own room. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was cool. It worked for a while until winter came. Then I'm back in the house again. Things are good for me. My mom and my sister-in-law and the rest of my family still going through it. I'm blocking stuff out, trying to focus going forward type of thing. And I'm going to school. My niece is going with me at the time. That lasted a while. And then my sister-in-law, they left, I believe, they went back home, and we ended up staying there. So when they left, I got a room briefly. That didn't last very long because, again, we didn't pay the rent. But at this point in time, as soon as my sister-in-law leaves and my niece leaves, I start getting in trouble. I start just running amok. I'm going back down to Wilmington, to my neighborhood, and I'm just running amok at this point. I'm still not doing drugs, but I'm on one. I'm mad at the world. I remember just being so mad. I never disrespected my mom, though. I'll let you guys know that. Never, ever once did I ever come outside of her name, which was Mom. I never yelled, raised my voice to her because she'll put hands on me. I got my ass handed to me quite a bit as a kid, and so did my brother. More than we should have. We weren't abused children, but it wasn't like a spanking, go to your room. Obviously, we didn't have a room. It was an ass whooping. My brother used to get beat with the down plastic hanger, and when he got older, I seen him get hit with an iron. I remember being slapped multiple times when I turned 12. One of the times in Wilmington, I remember getting punched in the back of the head. So these are the times. And then when we were in Lake Hughes, things didn't change. It was like that all the time when she would get mad and drunk. And one time I remember telling her because she was still going through it with my brother, and I just didn't understand. It's just like she just didn't want to heal, like didn't want to move on, wanted to keep pulling the scab, and I couldn't take it no more. I didn't want to think about it no more. I was over being sad. I was over being mad. I didn't understand. And I remember one of the times I told her, like, that's enough already. And that was the last time I ever said that. She threw a candle, one of those candlestick holders at me and hit me right in the back. And I remember, I don't know why, it probably didn't hurt bad as I made it sound, but boy, it dropped me to my knees. And she never did something like that. And anyways, I just looked at it different now. I started going back to listening to that voice in my head saying, she didn't care, you know what I mean? Like her only son died, and those times were just all in my head. Like I couldn't shake that. And I worked this when I went to the program through Pier 1, and I know that was a big pivotal moment in my life. Couldn't shake it, you know what I mean? Obviously, to this day, I still couldn't shake it, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, we lose the play, so then we go into this smaller place, if you can imagine. And when I'm going to describe this place to you, you walk in. I wish I would have found some pictures of this place. I remember when you walk in, as soon as you walk in is the kitchen. It's not like, oh, there's the kitchen down there. As soon as you walk in, it's a studio. So when you walk in, there's the kitchen. To your left, 4 or 5 steps is the bathroom. If you turn right, there's a piece of the living room, and then there's a little spot for a bed. That's what we moved to because we couldn't afford the other place. So my mom and my stepdad got the bed. I got the couch again. What? No, that's not happening. That's where I was at. I'm done. I can't do this no more. I'm out there running the street, coming in late, and I meet this guy. I'm getting into bad stuff, and I'll get into that right now. I'm getting into bad stuff. I'm like 12, 13, somewhere around there. I'm stealing from the store, the grocery store that was up at the top of the thing. I'm stealing from them. I'm stealing from the other store on the other side of town. Convincing my friends in this town that we need to do something, make some money. So I'm selling weed when I do go to school, doing whatever I can to make $1. And that's where it started. And then I want to say I come out of the house one day. In the front of us, there was this chick named Lori, I think her name was. I used to call her One-Armed Lori. And she lived in the front. And I used to go over there. I just felt comfortable. They were using meth. I was like 12 or 13, and they were using meth. And they never tried to get me high. And she was always like, try to be cautious about it. But mind you, that was a studio. It was the same studio. It was 2 studios connected. We were on the bottom. She was on the top. So you had to go up two stairs, and then she lived right there. Well, I turned around and I'm hanging out there all the time. And one time I'm like, hey, what's this? What you got going on here? She wouldn't. She never gave it to me. She really didn't. She tried her best. And I'm going to say about a couple of weeks passed by, but I'm staying at Lori's house next door, or we're at my friend Everett's house. I stayed there quite a bit. Him and his mom, they let me stay there sometime. My mom was like, as long as she knew I was safe at this point, she didn't really dig in my butt too much. Well, this guy comes in out of prison, parks his trailer at where we live, and his name was Monkey. And I meet this guy at Lori's house one of the times, and I go in. He tells me coming to hang out in his trailer. Older, these guys, I'm like 13 years old, 14 years old, I want to say at this time. These guys are grown men, dude, grown women. I have no business being around these people. So I go in his trailer, hanging out. I feel just comfortable. Like I said, I'm just selling a little bit of weed. I'm stealing stuff, selling it. That's how it started. I go in there, and this guy has a lot of drugs at this time in life. And I'm just being honest with you, he's passed away, so we'll say what I said. Nobody else likes it. Screw it. It is what it is. So they're laying out these lines on this table. And I asked him, I was like, hey, you think I could try that? Because Lori wasn't giving it to me. And he's like, no, you don't want this type of thing. Like in the movie, you don't want this. It's going to make you feel good. It's going to make you forget all your problems. He didn't really push too hard. So I ended up doing the line. And it was life-changing for me. Because every pain and every single thing I could remember was gone. I didn't care about nothing. And I remember from that moment on, it was like switched on this ugly hustler switch. And some people, I always say it, some people are born with it, and some people try to buy it. Well, I was born with it. And so I had a plan, and my plan was to leave this house and go. So 2 days went by, I'm up for 2 days. And I distinctly remember it was 2 days because I told the guy, I was like, I can't go home like this. My mom was going to beat this shit out of me. 2 days went by. I had been up for 2 days, and I finally felt enough to be able to talk. First time ever doing it. And I walk in. It's like 10, 11 o'clock. My mom's had a salad, and my stepdad and her already had beers open. And it's like 10 o'clock, 9, 10 o'clock. I walk in, and they're cracking jokes. Look at the cat drug game. And I said, I need to talk to you guys. And I looked at my mom. I said, I can't do this no more. I gotta go. Where are you gonna go? I don't know, but I'm not gonna do this no more. I can't do this. I can't be at home no more. From there, she's like, there's nothing I could do to say to stop you. So that's where it was at. I'm off to the races. I'm going to school a little bit because if I don't, I get in trouble. But I was really going to school to sell dope. I was a horrible person, and I see it now. You know, I mean, everybody says, you know, people have their own decisions when it comes to using. But I wasn't a lorry. I didn't care. My friends wanted to use. I was gonna get them to use, and I got everybody in that town strung out. And it must have been 20, 30 kids out there, and I got them, every one of them. It was bad. I repent that to God. So I'm selling, using, dipping in my mom's house to hand her money. She never said no. And at this point in time, I get caught up for my first time. I go to jail. They literally slapped me on the wrist. I'm just a kid, 14 years old. They slapped me on the wrist with it. I mean, I think I go to jail. I got caught with a little bag of stuff, and I got lucky because I just had a whole bunch of it on. And I get out. They take me home because that's what they do. Back in those days, they took me back home. My mom whooped the shit out of me, and I just told her I was leaving again. Well, this time I'm staying at friends' house all throughout Lake Hughes and Lake Elizabeth, where these two little towns in California. And I'm just rampant with it now. I'm just going crazy. So my mom, and mind you, at this point, my mom asked me about the drugs. I told her they weren't mine, and she believed me because that's what moms do. And I'm off to the races. So the person, I'm not gonna say who she was because she's still around, and I don't think that's fair to her. I go on her. The person that I'm getting drugs for him at the time is an older lady, and she lives in Lake Elizabeth, and she moves down to this town called Lancaster. Well, I've only been down to Lancaster and Palmdale, these areas down there, to go and grocery shopping with my mom. So when I get down there, I cruise down there. Mind you, like I said, I'm just staying at people's houses up in the mountain up here. I'll turn around and I go down to her house, and I'm down there, you know, re-up and grabbing my stuff. And then I'm sorry if this video is long, but I want to give you guys everything. I just want to put it out there for you to let you know where I left out little minor details, but I gave you the meat and potatoes of this. So anyways, I'm grabbing my stuff. I have this little kid when I say little kid, like I said, I'm about 14, 15 at the time, about 14, 15. I have this little kid. He's probably like a year or two younger than me. His family lives up in the mountain, but he's down from the neighborhood. He's from Carson. So my neighborhood is Wilmington. He lives in Carson, and which they're right connected to each other in Southern California. Anyways, I met him. I called him my little cousin. He was just good to me. He was just a loyal little kid, man. And we made money together, and he liked it, I liked it. So anyways, I made him stay in the car. And while I'm inside, re-up, and I turn around, this little kid takes off, and I come out, and this kid comes running up, and he has this hat. It had pagers and gold and a big stack of money. I don't even know what else was in it. I already knew whose this stuff was because I had heard about people in this neighborhood, that this neighborhood was crazy where I was re-upping at. So I didn't ever mess with it. I would just come down there, re-up, go back home, stayed in my little mountains. It was no big deal. But being that switch was on, I knew I wanted to go next level. So anyways, I take this hat and I tell him, take me to where you got this from, dude. He tells me this guy was working on the car, and he seen the guy was underneath, and he put the hat up on the wall with all this stuff in it. And I went over and I looked, and I'm like, the girl I was getting my stuff from told me, these dudes live in this neighborhood, don't mess with them. They about it. Well, I want to be about it too. So I went over and I called for him. He came out. I said, hey man, my little cousin took this. I wanted to bring it back to you. Everything's there. I apologize. I'm sorry. And to this point in my life, I had known that, and my brother taught me this too, respect is everything. And when you're giving it, you're going to get it. And so watching my brother do the things he did to get us where we had to go, was like, I knew this was going to be the key thing. And the guy looked at me and he's like, I almost want to say that he was like astonished the fact that I brought this shit back to him. And he got the stuff and he kind of just nodded and he's like, all right. I said, I'll deal with it. And we walked off. I never talked to the guy again until, I don't know, like a month later or something like that. I ran into him. So I go back to the town, I do my thing, and actually it was about a month or two because I go to jail. I go back, I get busted. I go to San Fernando Juvenile Hall. Yep. that's exactly what happened. I go to San Fernando Juvenile Hall. I'm there. I got a month or two. I think I had got busted with a couple bagged up shit. And I go down there, and it's a whole new thing for me because I got slapped on the hand the first time I remember, and I got sent home. So, anyways, I turn around and I go there. I don't know nothing. Anybody that's watching this or anybody's going to be watching this and they're from Cali or been time in Cali, I would rather do time in 9,500 10 times at 10 years old than to go back to San Fernando Juvenile Hall. That place was the most ruthless, craziest place I've ever been in. And I've been to a couple of prisons. And that place was crazy. So I get there. I meet this dude. I meet this dude. He's from Wilmas, and he's from the neighborhood. And we go in the back, and him and some other dude watch, and we get at it. And he's like, from the neighborhood, because I tell him, I'm like, dude, my uncles, my cousins, all of them, they're from the neighborhood. Like, I want to be from the neighborhood, and I'm thinking now, this is gonna be a new life for me. So I'm supposedly being jumped into my neighborhood, and I come out 2 days later. I don't know nothing about this stuff. I don't know nothing about gangbanging. I don't know nothing about nothing because my mom literally must have seen something and snatched me from there and took me to these mountains to keep me away from this stuff that I was trying to literally stick my hand in. I was at my cousin's house, which I told you I called my uncle. I was at their house, kind of, I don't know if you want to call it prospecting, but I'm over here at the park watching these dudes, and I'm at any moment I'm ready to ask. I want to be put me on. That's where I was at in my life. So I was sitting there this particular day, and this dude comes up from San Pedro, which at that point in our lives, and I don't know how it is anymore because I've been gone for many, many years, but that was the enemy. And this kid comes up and he's like, "Where you from?" "Well, I just got some down. What's up?" "Oh, yeah, cool." Acting all cool with me. "Let me talk to you." I had my cell all the way at the end of the hall. We get to the end of the hall, and I felt these hands boom in the back and hit the ground, and I'm being just kicked and punched by two dudes. And this went on for a while until, I'm just, at this point, I'm just every day, we're swinging. Every day until they finally separated us. And it was like that. You couldn't eat certain colored foods. You couldn't eat certain foods because it was disrespecting gangs. It's just stupid. Anyways, so at this point in my time, I already did that time. I got out, went back. Long story short, there on that part, went back, got out, went right back. So that dude I told you about is living still at my mom's house. When I get out, that's obviously where I get sent to, and I'm on probation, and I get sent back to there. And now he's living there, but my stepdad had bought a trailer or something like that, and I think with the intent for me to live in this trailer. Right? And I'm like, I don't even want to live there now. I didn't want to be home. So I go, I re-up, do my thing. And you talk about brokenhearted. My stepdad was a good guy, and I didn't realize it then until it was too late. He ended up passing away years later. But I was in the trailer, and me and my friend are in there, and I'm chopping up lines, and he walks in on me because this is what he liked to go in there and drink. There was a stereo. He'd go in there and drink to be away from my mom. And he walked in on me while I was doing the line. He told me, "You tell your mom or I'm going to go tell her." And I went in there and told my mom. And my mom was like, I don't even know what she did, to be honest with you. She didn't kick my ass or nothing, but I remember her giving me a third degree, and I think she was at that point, she realized she seen something else in me. So anyway, we'll fast forward a little bit. Mind you, I'm still fully using, in and out of jail at this point. I hook up with the guy that I bring the hat to. I jump on this dude's hip, and I know that I see him getting the respect and the power and everything, and I want it. And my connect at that time, she was right. I wanted every bit of that, which was now I realize was an ugly thing, but I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't. So that I'm thankful for. But I stayed. I went to jail a few times in between there. I'm living out in Lancaster at this time. Now I'm fully down. Got this corner, what they call the corner house. I'm living there pretty much in heat. That's where I'm coming. I got that spot pretty much unlocked. People coming in and out. Raids happening at least once a month. And then I turn around. Let's see. I'm trying to think how it happened. So anyways, I'm on this dude's hip. We're doing our thing, making money, just doing stupid stuff. I'm full blown, not even kind of an addict. I'm like, when you say addict, turn the page on that guy. I'm not the kind of addict where I was out there, selling my stuff. I was on a different page than that. I was, you know what I mean? I was the guy that was bringing, the people were bringing our stuff to, type of thing. You know what I mean? Like the problem was I always had it. I never went without it. So I never got the break. So stuff happened. The dude I'm on his hip, he ends up splitting to another state. And when he leave, it was literally like I was back by myself again. So I didn't know then, and I probably haven't told nobody this either, but I didn't know in my mind if I went into this, like, I worked this in group and stuff, and I haven't, like I said, this stuff, some of this stuff I'm telling you, I've never told nobody, but I don't know in my mind if I went back into this reset with my brother, because the dude I was on his hip was like a real brother to me. He treated me like that. And so when he took off to the other state, and it wasn't like take off, come with me, let's do this. We separated, and I was holding down this little spot because I had it going on pretty good. And then he went over to this other state and was kind of transplanting stuff, getting stuff going, and we were supposed to migrate type of thing. But I was losing my shit. I just was losing my mind, and I'm pretty sure it was because I was having brother issues. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I lose my shit. I know I'm starting to dibble dabble. All along the way, I'm touching other drugs. Never like cocaine or anything like that. But man, acid, weed, pills, ecstasy, all that other stuff, you name it, everything except heroin and cocaine. I never mess with at that point in my life. But I started doing these pills, and I found a whole new love that was weird because I really liked what meth. So I started doing these pills called Klonopin, and I got hooked on, which is crazy because I'm doing those and meth at the same time just to balance it out. And I go through this big old giant thing. These guys, this town was so weird with, and anyways, I get these guys insisted that I needed to pay them, long story short, to remain in this town. The dude I was on his hip is gone, and they would have never said it with him. I'm calling my boy and my brother. I pretty much call him my brother. I'm calling him and like, hey, these dudes are tripping. Like, they're saying I'm not paying a dime. They're tripping. I go get a couple dudes that are real close and keep them on my hip because I'm tripping. I've been up for days. I'm on these pills now. I love these pills. I got a safe full of pills. I'm just on this pill. I borrowed this car to go because these two dudes, they were known to be a little crazy, but like I said, I wasn't tripping. I just needed to be ready type of thing. So I borrowed this girl's car, and I go grab some more stuff. And when I go to grab this car, I'm hearing where these dudes are at, right? So I'm like contemplating, do I make my move and do this and that and blah, blah, blah. But mind you, I've been up for like a couple weeks probably, not even exaggerating. The girl had to take the car. This is how I legitimately went down. The girl had to take her kid to school in the morning, so I had to have the car back that evening, which was late, like 1 o'clock in the morning. I had to have it back before morning so she could take her kids. Well, I'm on one because it wasn't like I was just going to hang out and do this. I was on one, like contemplating what my moves were now that I had a car that nobody. Well, she ends up calling the police on me because it reports the car stolen, tells them where I live. It was so bad that she's at the house and calls the police where I live because she knew where I stayed at. She calls the police, and I come in, and I said, get the hell out of here. Here's your keys. Go. She already called the police, right? Well, I think these dudes are following me. So I run inside, grab a gun. Long story short, I turn around. She comes back up, and I hit her with this gun. I thought it was the dude coming in. The way she pushed the door open, I hit her with this gun. And she goes screaming out of the complex, he got a gun. So all the police come, SWAT's out there. I lock down in this house. Long story short, I go to prison for the first time, right? I get a 2-year sentence. I end up doing almost 3 on it because I got in some stuff in there when I was in there. I get out. So now I get out. I had already been in and out of jail. I left out that little stuff, but I like county jail, 9,500, been there like multiple times, juvie, LP. I did my, every time I was getting busted, like 6 months, I opened Challenger out there in Lancaster. I did a year there. So when I remember when I was 17, because I got tired of going to San Fernando so much and fighting and doing all that stuff, I lied just to go to 9,500 and told them I was 18. But afterwards, I caught a case, went to prison, got out. When I want to say when I got out, it was 97. That all that other stuff was about 90, 95, 94, 95, part of maybe even 96. I got out 90, late 97, something like that. Mind you, my mom is going through it with me still. She's on my hip, but she's still drinking really bad. I get out in 97. I get on, no, I go to prison in 97. I'm sorry, I go to prison in 97. I get out 90, 99, 98, 99. I get out 99. When I get a letter from my mom while I'm in prison, and she tells me the doctor told her that she had a few months to live. And she had gotten these letters before while I was doing time, and she was like, I'm not going nowhere, son. So, but for something was different this time. So I went home, and they had moved to another little house, which I didn't know about because I was too busy running the street. I moved into a little house. She gave me $1,500, a car, and she put a little trailer on the property that she was living in. It was probably one of the greatest things I think my mom's ever done, and I think that that's what she wanted me to remember, because I never felt like that from my mom. I was so angry with her. I remember her giving me the money, giving me the car, and giving me this little trailer which is on the property, and hoping that I would stay there. And I stayed calm, and I went back down. I heard my brother getting out himself, and I went down and met up with him, and we packed. We were gonna stay sober, and we drank. We drank like fish. We drank. My mom drank, and I had some really good times, and I know he did too with my mom. We drank and we sat by the fire. We had some really good times up there with her, and it was some big moments. So this one particular day, I woke up. I walked inside. They had a 1-bedroom at this. I walked in to use the restroom. I was like, I don't feel good. I think I need to go to the hospital. This is in April of 90. I could almost tell you the day. I want to say it was like April 12th. Yeah, April 12th, April 11th, April 12th of 1999. I walked in and she's like, I don't feel good. I think I need to go to the hospital. I was like, all right, well, let's go. We take her down to the hospital. They admit her right away. Well, when I went in to go use the restroom, I went to go pee. I looked and there was like, literally, if you could see it with my head, there was literally that much foam in the toilet. I didn't know what the heck was going on. Foam, like from, when you pee, there's a little bit of foam. This was foam, like thick foam in the toilet. And I turned around and we took her to the hospital. They admit her. Oh, what's going on? So they're like, her liver's shutting down, this and that. Okay, fix it. So doctor comes and sees me later on that day. She's been in there all day. Doctor comes like, hey, we ran the test. Her liver is just done. There's nothing you can do. I'm like, well, we're the same blood type. We both have hemophilia. Like, we take some of my liver. Is that possible? It is possible. It is. The problem we're having with that is that everything's so polluted that I don't think that a piece of your liver would take to her liver. So now she's gonna die. Here we are again. I'm sober again, and I remember sitting there. I remember I called up my brother, and I told him I didn't know what to do. I really messed up this time. I shouldn't have been the way I was to my mom. So there we go with the regret. And I kept just telling her I was sorry, and I didn't want her to die. Remembering the shit I put her through. So, how long we got, Doc? I don't know. You're lucky a week. A week? And so I'm there every day, all day. And I know some of you guys are going to think this is horrible. I was sitting there on the second day. And I'm in there and she liked these tuna sandwiches. I was like, well, what do you want, Mom? And she was like, oh, I really want a tuna sandwich and a beer. Well, this woman's on her dying deathbed. And I went and got a tuna sandwich and a beer. And in my head, I just thought, like, I just wanted her to be happy, I know it sounds stupid. And I know maybe it seems really messed up, but I'll still stand by it. That's what she wanted. There wasn't, don't give her the beer, she's not going to die type of thing. She was going to die. So I sneak in the beer, I bring the tuna sandwich, and I I remember her talking, and she was so happy. She went to the bathroom, drank the beer, ate the tuna salad, and we sat there and talked. It was probably outside of the day I got out of prison. She gave me all that stuff. It was probably one of the coolest days I ever spent with my mom that I could remember. That was, she told me so much stuff I didn't know. Told me about my dad. Told me just everything, just so much stuff. And it was, again, here I am thinking, oh, now you're dying, and now you're telling me stuff. Seeing my brother saying, I don't want to hear that. And this is day 2. Call my brother, I'm telling him. He's like, damn, dude, it sucks, man. I'm sorry. He's there, but he spent some time with my mom, but let me stay with my mom. And so this is the afternoon of the second day. We sat there, we watched TV. She liked to watch soap operas. Those were huge back. So we're watching a soap. It's around 4 o'clock, I think, 4 or 5 o'clock. She looks over at me. She calls me my brother's name. She's like, David, give me that. My mom's always been bad with names, so I just blew it up. Sat back down. She says, go tell my mom that I'm here. So I thought she meant go call. So I did. I went and called my grandma, because I had to call my grandma at this point. I don't know why. I went and told my grandma prayed with me on the phone. And I told her, she's like, what are we going to do? I was like, I don't know. I have no idea what I'm going to do. And I was so not ready for this. And so I told her. So I went back in there and told my mom, I was like, hey, we need to talk. She's like, oh, I'm tired, blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right, get some rest. So I went downstairs, got something to eat. Come the morning, this is the 3rd day. Come the morning, my stepdad shows up. My mom and him start arguing. And they're arguing, I walk in. And he's upset because my mom took off her wedding ring and handed it to me. And said that's what she wanted to leave me. Man, I was tore up when she did that, because I know that she realized that she was gonna die now. Like, it meant something to her. I took the ring and I told her, I was like, all right. But my stepdad was so upset, and because she's already divvying up stuff at the house, like take pictures, take from TV. I'm like, I don't want nothing. You know what I mean? I just wanted my mom at this point in my life. And so he storms out. He goes downstairs. I'm going downstairs. So he goes downstairs. I stay with my mom and talk to her for a quick minute, a couple minutes. I take off downstairs, and I don't know, my heart just, I don't know what it was, to be honest. Could have been God talking to me. Something happened in my heart where it just was like, this is the right thing to do. So I went downstairs and I looked at him. His name was Stuart. I said, here, Stuart. And he's like, what? I gave him the ring, and he just started crying. He's like, I'm so sorry, Mark. And he's like, and he took it though, and he held it, put it on his pinky finger. I don't remember seeing Stuart again till the funeral, I believe. So I go back up to the room, and I'm talking to my mom now, and she's like, we need to talk. And still pretty early, and she starts telling me, I want to go to my mom's house. I said, all right. The nurse just came in and told my mom that she has a speak. She's like, the nurse needs to talk to you. I was like, all right. So it wasn't a nurse, it was a hospice nurse. She came and told me, hey, they're kicking your mom out here today. And this is the 15th. They're kicking your mom out here today, and we need to find a place for her. And she's too far gone to go to a hospice place. Well, what do I do? I know she want to go to mom's. I'm like, is there a way you can provide us a ride in an ambulance or something like that to take her to my grandma's house, because that's where she wants to be at. Let me see what I can. I stay with my mom, and things are getting weird now. Talking to people that ain't there, calling me names that her brother, my uncles that had passed many years before I was born, type of thing. I mean, talking to her sister that passed, my brother. She was calling me my brother, and just conversations that just never took place and stuff like that. I was jacked up. I was so jacked up. So I told her I'd be right back, Mom, and I took off, and I started talking to the nurse again, and she's like, we got that ride for you, blah, blah, blah. They'll be here in another hour or two to go. Call my grandma, said, hey, they're bringing a bed over there. They'll help set it up in the room. We'll put her in the room. My grandma has a little small house. She still lived in Wilmington at that time, that same exact house. And before, I told you before, her mom lived there. My great grandma lived. So anyways, I come back to the room. They load my mom up. They put her in the ambulance. We take off down from Lancaster to Wilmington was probably about an hour and a half, if not, if you don't hit traffic. We get down there. My mom she's so bloated. Like, it's so bad. Like, her water retention was just insane. So they get her on the gurney. They take her into my grandma's house. They put her on the bed. The last thing I remember my mom saying was that we had to talk. And everything else has just been gibber. And she's there, and my grandma starts making some eggs. She gives me the plate of eggs. I put on the soaps. It's like these afternoon soaps on the TV my grandma had at the end of the day for my mom, and she's staring at them. And this nurse is supposed to come over, and we're supposed to come up with a plan to take care of my mom. She's not even like talking no more now. This is all within hours. It's still pretty early, 2, 1, 2, maybe 3 at the latest. The nurse shows up. I got my food. I'm eating my food, and me and the nurse are talking. And my mom's laying right there, totally unresponsive. They're just staring at the TV. I'm eating. I put my food down, and she's like, "Hey," she goes, "Let's clean her up." And she goes, "And then we're gonna put this on a thing. I'll be back tomorrow in the morning. We'll bathe her and stuff like that." And I remember moving my mom to help the lady grab the blanket and move my mom. And when we moved the blanket, I went to the bathroom, and I said, "Is that normal?" And the lady says, she goes, "Hold on a second, hold on." Like, she was freaking out, and I was like, "Is that normal or not?" And I looked, and my mom's eyes were closed, and she had gaps. So, on April 15th, 1999, my mom passed away. Again, if it wasn't for my sister-in-law at that time, I got my family chipped in. Some of my cousins, some of my uncles, and my sister helped out so much. My sister, I call her my sister, but my brother's wife, she helped me out so much. We were able to bury again, I barely remember the funeral. I do remember it, not very much. I remember the people that were there, and I remember drinking outside a beer with one of my cousins and telling them that I had my best friends as pallbearers, that I couldn't even find people to be pallbearers at my mom's funeral. And yeah, I have hundreds, bags and bags of pictures here with family, and it's crazy. But anyways, she passed. We buried her, and this is 99. I went back to using again. No, I'm lying. I didn't go back to use. I stayed sober. October, my brother got locked up. I was drinking here and there. That's super crazy. And then I was on her. My mom had just died. I lost everything, I felt like. I mean, when I lost my brother, I didn't have the rage that I had when I lost my mom. When I lost my mom, I remember beating up this guy for no reason because I was just so mad at the world. I remember it so vividly, too. And my brother at the time, the guy that I told you I sided up with, he ends up getting in trouble for a case he had, Colorado. He taken off to Colorado. This girl I'm dating at the time, I ended up moving in with her and her parents, and I'm still sober, clean, occasional drink every now and then, working, got it together, trying to figure out where the hell life went wrong. And I'm literally like putting it together, working. So that was October. When October came, he's out. This is October of 99. I come to Colorado. He tells me, "I'm out here. Come on. I got a job lined up for you. Let's do this." I was like, "All right." I'm on parole from that prison. Still, I turn around and I come to Colorado because I'm at the end of the parole pretty much. My parole officer knows I'm out. There's little stories in between there, but nothing crazy. But I come out here, they send me a letter that I'm a discharge, everything like that. I'm still doing good. I'm doing framing houses with things are going good. Well, the guys we're framing for are using, and yeah, I fall right back in. Now 99, 2000, I'm using right back into it, if not even crazier. And I'm full-fledged selling every day. And now doing it right. I'm like, I got a lawyer, I got bond money, I got my brothers bonding me. I mean, I'm just going at it. I'll come bring this to an end. I'm so sorry this took so long. I remember coming. Yeah, I was out here for a year. So 2000 that was 2001. I catch the ultimate case of all cases: high speed chase, gun, drugs, all that stuff in the car. But I told my brother this, and when I say my brother, I'm speaking about the dude I told you I sided up with. His name was Henry, by the way. I turn around and I remember We were doing so much, but I remember when I'm in this high-speed chase, and don't get me wrong, I always loved him. I didn't have no kids at this time. I didn't really have nothing. And I remember it was about a good 20-minute chase. Big speeds, 120, 130 miles an hour coming down I-70. And I remember thinking to myself, I had a passenger, thinking if I didn't have this girl in there, I didn't even care. Not that I wanted to kill myself, but I didn't even care if I died. I had nothing. I was telling myself that the whole time I'm driving down this freeway. There's something bad's gonna happen. I don't even care. Like, I don't even care. And I'm looking you dead in the eyes and telling you, I don't know if any of you ever went through that, but I legitimately, wholeheartedly did not care what happened to me at that point in my life. I felt like I had nothing left. Nothing. If she wasn't in the passengers, it probably would have went differently. So they popped the tires and got me. But I go to prison. I get 10-year sentence. I had caught a bunch of cases in between that before I did that high-speed chase, and they all caught up to me. So I got 4 years out of one Arapahoe. I got 3 years out of Aurora. I got all these cases all over the place that I was bonding out for on probation and stuff. They already I'm 3 years in, 10-year sentence at a big case that I had messed. They caught up to me, and so I go to Jeffco. They sentenced me to 13 years as my governing sentence, and I take the 13. And mind you, I'm already 3 years, and the judge tells me, because when I got in there, I remember I'm done. I want to be done with this shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I went from wanting to not care about life to 3 years in, like, I didn't really care what happened, I should say. I wouldn't say I was done. I just didn't care no more. Like, I was in there, I didn't have no family, brothers locked up. Like, I had no family. I had nothing. So I'm like, what am I going to get out to? I don't know if you have ever felt that. Like, I didn't know what I was going to get out to, man. I didn't have a house. I didn't know how to work. I didn't know how to do nothing but sell drugs and just be miserable. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I knew. So I didn't care. So I'm still doing classes though, because I want to get out. I don't want to be in here for, 7 years on a 13-year sentence. So I did anger management. I got my GED. I took computer classes. This is all in that 3-year span, because some of the dudes in there told me, hey, he went out. This is what you got to do. And I'm like, shit, I don't want to be in here. I want to still get out. Even if I get out back to the same shit, I don't want to be in here, right? Nobody wants me in jail. So when I go get this 13-year sentence that I didn't know I was going to get, the judge sees my file and he goes, hey, what have you completed? And then I said, my GED, I've got computer classes, I've done this, done that. He says, if you stay good for 1 year from this today, he goes, I'll knock it back down to a 10-year sentence. You just come back, reconsideration, I think it was called. I'll let you come back for a reconsideration to drop it to a 10. So I was good, didn't get in no trouble, stayed, mind my business, started working, because I knew I was going to do about 5-6 years, something like, and go back. Kept his word, had a 10-year sentence with 5 years working out, doing good. I talked to Henry in between. He's like, dude, you got to come to this program. Pier 1 was the name of the program. I don't know, if be honest with you, when we're being honest right now, I don't know if I was with it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm coming up on 5 years in this, and then go do 2 more years in a rehab is what I heard. I'm good. I think I'm rehabilitated. And every time I talk to him, he's on me. You got to come to this program, man. It's going to be life-changing. But I always listen to this dude. I always have since day one. He could have told me to go do a fire. I would have went do a fire with him. He was like that. And so they're getting close. And finally, my case manager tells me, you're going to put in for halfway house. This is my chance, because the guy told me, don't put in for nothing else. If you're going to come to this program, you're going to only put in for this program. I don't want to see no other halfway houses on there. All right. Man, I wanted to put in for another half. I wanted to put in for somewhere else. I'm not gonna lie. So I turn around and I put in for Pier 1, right? And I don't hear nothing. I'm like, dude, now I gotta wait another 6 months because they didn't accept me. Whatever. Go back to the cell. Go back to working out. Go back to living my life. I'm waiting for my brother to call and write me a letter so I could call them. Hey man, what you signed me up for? Because this place ain't even taking me. All of a sudden, one they knock on my door, where else got me going, right? I was like, so I lined it up. I go downstairs, I roll my stuff up, go down, they pick me up, I go down to I don't know what the hell it's called, Camp George West, and my brother's in the car with this dude picking me up, man. I was like, what the hell? So, long story short, we're finished all this up. I ended up going to the Pier 1, and man, I'm gonna tell you right now, it was probably one of the greatest programs and things I ever been through my whole. People talk crap about that program, but I'll tell you, it changed. It changed my life. It really, really did. It taught me this right here that we got going is because they helped with that foundation. I promise you, they had a piece of the foundation that I have structured in my, and I'm so blessed with them. You know, to have them in my life and show me the things and work the stuff that I talked about on, and was able to talk about it, because without them I wouldn't have been able to do this. There's no way. I was already, you know, I tell everybody that does interviews on here about being nervous. I was nervous, you know. I was scared. I'm still like that, you know what I mean? But it's hard when you talk about your stuff and you get down to the nitty gritty. And so anyways, I did the pro, graduated the man, it was awesome because they taught me how to work. I got a job. Henry got me a job where he was working at doing trees. I started doing trees. I loved it. And then one day he was like, dude, we got to do this for ourselves. And we went on our, and that was 20 years. Literally, we started Limb Walkers for me, 20 years. And that's all we've been. And it's been a blast. My children, I've had a couple kids, and my beautiful children have supported me through every move. I got married once. I got divorced once. I bought a house. All along this 20 years, I could tell you a whole 2 hours worth of stuff. But what I will tell you is this: it was all well worth getting clean, going through life with a different frame of mind. Where I'm at today, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Feeling the way I feel is what got me here today to do this with you guys and wanting to do it for other people. You know, and I know this is a long video, and I hope it helps somebody, and I'm sorry if it wasn't what you were looking for, but, you know, that was pretty much my life. There's a lot of, obviously, you know, a lot of 40 years would have 40 years, a lot of stuff happened, you know what I mean? But I'm 47, but, you know, I'm talking about from when I was like 6 or 7. So I mean, you know, but this is I wanted to do this tonight because I wanted it to be personal, you know. I wanted to share. So when I asked you to share your stuff and your problems and the stuff that you're going through, because I want to save somebody's life, you know, and if somebody can see that all that crap that I went through, that we can make a difference and we map, you know, that's gonna be worth it. If I could save one person man, can you imagine? I really believe that, and I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I've been blowing it off because I say all kinds of excuses. I don't have the time. I'm making it, and I wanted to do, like I said, to show you that I'm so dedicated to doing this that we're gonna go, and I want to take you guys with me. Like this is serious. I want you guys to feel what I'm gonna feel when I know when somebody's telling me, and I'm already been getting it. I get these messages, man. Oh my God, thank you so much. I really needed to see that video. I needed to feel that, you know. And I'm gonna be honest. We're being honest tonight. I'm gonna be honest. I needed this tonight. And when we were just talking about this other day, that the person that's doing the interview, not only are you saving somebody's life, but you're saving your own life as well, and you're continuing to strengthen your recovery, because doing this gets that pain out, talks about it, get it out there for the next person, but for you as you know, it just strengthens your stuff. It really, I'm a firm believer in, and I'm going to keep doing it, whether we have 10 followers or 2 followers or 1 million followers, it doesn't matter. I'm going to keep doing it, and we're going to keep going, and we're going to keep doing it, and we're going to grow, and we're going to save lives. And before you know, we're going to be the talk of the town. Guarantee. You know what I mean? We're going to line some stuff up, radio show, interviews. So I apologize again. I know I told you an hour. Shit, here we are. So before I let you go, I did make these other things, and I didn't get time to share them with you real quick, but I wanted to share them with you because they meant something to me. Real quick, I want a couple more minutes if you're still. So this is a picture of my mom when she was younger. See that right here? That's mom. These are pictures of my mom. My mom was I'm going to tell you that right now. My mom was a model. She did modeling and alcohol really took that from her. The pictures I'm going to show you is in her younger days. and you're gonna be like, what the hell? I don't know. I got this too to show you guys. These are some pictures of my mama on the bottom on the cap. I'll show you that one in here in a sec. That's my mom on the stripes. And I just want to show you these pictures because, you know, obviously they mean something to me, but the fact that, you know, we don't know where drugs and alcoholism is going to take us. And you look at some people where you say, dang, man, you know, like my mom, she was a model. And when she started drinking at some point in her life, it just destroyed herself, destroyed her body, destroyed her confidence. You know what I mean? And just everything about it. That's my that's my great grandma, my mom, and I believe the little girl is cousin. I'm gonna say, but this is 1980. That's mom. I'll show you a couple more. My great grand. And my cousin's still on here. You're gonna like this one. That's my cousin's grandma. That's my Aunt Virginia, my Uncle Jerry. That's my aunt's husband, and my mom in the. That's a pretty cool picture. My cousin's on here. I know she appreciates that. And this one too. This is not my mama, but this is my mama, my grandma, my great grandma, and then that's my cousin Margie right here with my pinky. My mom. I don't know who the lady is with her, but she looks like she's definitely on some. Cause she still got the same eyes. Crazy. There's a picture of my great grandma. My obviously, as you've seen some of the pictures. Oh, look at this one. This is classic. Man, look at that black eye with the smile and crutch. Man, I'm trying to say. I wanted to share this. This is a picture of me. I told you I got out and went to talk to my mom and told her I was leaving. This is what I had. Drugs. And then I have something else on before I leave. Here, I got this too. I want to share this. So my grandma owned a bar. She was super known in Baltimore. That's where my mom and my families come from. Like my mom and my grandma and all them. They came from Baltimore to California way before obviously I was born. This is a book, a pamphlet that I was fortunate to get after my grandma passed, which I lost my grandma a couple years, which was another trip. You know, during that I told you a lot of stuff happened in 20 years, but one of the big things was I lost my grandma. But this, I have this, and I don't know, I'm just going to show you. Let's open it real quick. You guys not here, you know. So anyways, I don't know if you can see. It's like this book. It says, on the bottom, it says the Playboy magazine. I'm pretty sure it's not. Oh, shoot. Never mind. It might. It said, it says, where the boys are, where the girls. There's strippers in here. I didn't ever open this thing like that. So it does say, it said, who reads Playboys this week in Baltimore? So it must have been a magazine. But check who on the front cover of this magazine. It was my grandma's name was Sarah. How crazy is that? 1966. That's my grandma. How cool is that? That's insane. I'm going to let you guys, I do want to do, and this is another thing that was on my heart to do. I don't know, since we're on here, and thousands of people are going to see. I've been telling my brother, so I've been trying to down a better path in my, you know, putting Jesus in my. And before I let you guys, I'm going down this path, reading the Bible, praying for people, praying for stuff in my life, and giving all glory to. I really am. From where one of the things I struggle, crying again. One of the things that I struggle with, I'm praying on all the time, trying to learn how to forgive. I don't know why it's so hard, but I'm learning. I'm going to tell you that. I pray on it. I ask God to lay his hand on my heart and soften it and forgive people. You know, I don't really believe that their intentions are to break me down or hurt me or anything like that. I just think it's the way of the 47. I'll be 47 in 10 days. And one of the people I've always, and I don't talk about it a whole bunch, I blow it off and I joke about, one of the people that I've always had a lot of resentment against and didn't let it was this. So that's my grandma. And this person over here, let's see, here, this guy right here is my, and this guy right here is my real dad. Let's see if I get a picture. Let's see. Let's get his mugshot on there. There we go. So this is, guess what year? 420. My grandma. That's my aunt and my real dad. You see it says Mark, Sarah, and Carl at Sarah's house, 420. Mind you, I was born 2/17/70. I had a lot of resentment for this dude. I've never met him, ever, in my life. Ever. I got to talk to him a couple times, and it wasn't good. But tonight, in front of you guys, I forgive you. I do. I wholeheartedly forgive. And you were young, and you made mistakes, but I was taught that just because I forgive you don't mean we need to hang out. That's where that's at. I do though, and I needed that. That's one of the ones I don't talk about much. You know, I have a lot of little stuff that goes on in my life I'm working, but that's a big one. I promise you guys. Anybody that knows it, and I swear to you, on everything I love, God is my witness. I forgive you for leaving my mother the way you did. I forgive you because my life could have been different. My mom's life could have been different, but that's why I held that resentment. And you know what? I thank God and I prayed on it. And you know what? Because of you, it's probably why I'm sitting here today. So I wouldn't be the man I am without it. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Again, I'm so sorry this went 900 years. I didn't mean it for it to go that long. Sorry if I bored anybody, and I'm sorry if if this didn't reach you. That wasn't my intention. So again, I do apologize for going so long. I didn't mean it. I wanted you guys to know everything, and that's pretty much everything. Meat and potatoes, everything. All the major factors in my life, people passing, dealing with drill. There was a lot of war stories in there that I left. I love you guys, man. So again, I'm going to touch Beyond the Struggle websites up. You guys want to check it out. It's nothing huge, nothing crazy. Just we're going to keep adding and share the page, share this video if you guys like it. I'm going to post it up on YouTube and add it to the videos. We're on Spotify as well. If you guys we're on Spotify, YouTube, and we're kind of on TikTok. I got to get with Rachel because I'm not sure how we're doing that. I do have an account there though, but because of stuff that's going on there, I don't know what's going on. Right now, this is our base, our home base right here. All right. Thank you guys. I'm sorry I didn't get to read the comments. To everybody that did join in tonight and watch this all the way through, man, you guys are awesome. I appreciate you, my family, my fiance, my brother Henry, all my friends and family. Thank you guys for supporting me through this, and I couldn't be more happier, more loved with all the people in my life, man. You guys are awesome, and you guys are making this dream come true. I hope we can continue to get this going. So again, if you got anybody that wants to jump on here and do an interview, we can do it. If I haven't gained your trust with this, I don't know what will. You know anybody struggling with addiction, anybody stuff like that, let them. If I can't help them, I'm gonna find some help. So all right, I love you guys. Thank you guys. And Sunday we'll be posting another video. Thursdays and Sundays, don't forget, new videos come up. They'll be on the Beyond the page, Beyond the Struggle, and YouTube. If you can't get on here, just go to YouTube. They'll be on YouTube. All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Love you.